It's Hauser. Wings Hauser. I mean, do I actually look like some tall, tan, golden boy who runs up and down the beach in slow motion in tiny, tight trunks, huh? Is that what I look like? Wrong, huh? Does this look like Pamela Anderson?
No, sir.
No, sir, what?
No, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Hauser.
Should you drink? 6 months ago, they told me to stop, or I was dead. I stopped. Now the spirits circle around my bed and they tell me to dance. I tell them, tough guys don't dance. They answer me, keep dancing.
That's trash.
Hello, and welcome to That's Cool, That's Trash, the podcast where we watch a psychotronic movie online, then get together on Skype to break down the crazy. I'm Matt Howell, and I'm joined by our old friend Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Matt.
And an old friend who is on the show for the first time, Pete Matern. Hey, Pete.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, Joe.
So, Pete, thanks for being here tonight.
My pleasure. I'm excited.
So, Pete and I met in college in the 90s. We both were courtesy clerks in that health food supermarket. And then we started playing music together. Pete's a super talented musician, and he's also a computer coder. And we were in a band together, as Joe was in the same band with us. So we all are bandmates. So, yeah, we played music together for like 10 years, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So it's your first time on the show, and I'm so stoked to have you here. I've wanted to have you on for a while, and I did the revival for the COVID thing, and then I am ending it now, and I was like, who have I not had on that I wanted to have on? And you were top of that list.
So in a way, I'm headlining, right?
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the top of the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. I think you could tell your wife that you headline and feel totally okay with that.
I already did, so that's good.
So, yeah. Pete, one of the things we've been doing on all of these revival episodes is asking people, I know it feels like it was 100 years ago, but this started in March. We started the show again.
Right.
And we were asking everybody, how are you, weathering the pandemic? Have you been staying sane? We're not sheltering in place as much, although I think we're going back there.
Yeah.
Judging by the headlines and stuff. But how have you and your family been going through this?
Well, for me, it's, when it first started, it was kind of like, oh, maybe this will feel like a little vacation. Like I don't have to go into the office, And, didn't feel like that.
Wrong.
Not so much. But I have to admit, I worked at home for a couple years. Right around when my second daughter was born, and so I was used to it. And I remember it being like, oh, I could never do that again. But now, doing it this time, it's been actually pretty easy, mostly because the kids are old, right? So it's 11 a.m. and they're not awake, right? So it's pretty easy. But yeah, so I like being home a lot, right? And I've never really had a chance to do that this much. So in a way, that's cool. It's hard. It's hard for the kids, and that's definitely overshadowing any of that stuff, right? Because like you rip all the structure out of a teenage kid's life, and like they get listless and depressed, and they don't have anything to look forward to, and it's hard for them, right? So that's been terrible.
Yeah,
for them, right?
Well, and it's also keeping you away from like your first true love, which is minor league baseball.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah. I'm way out of shape this year. I just have to throw in the towel.
Well, I think all the professional athletes are going to take a little bit of a hit, but for those of us trying to rekindle something, it's especially hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like through this whole thing, when this first started, there was a lot of anxiety. There was some stress eating, some stress drinking, all that kind of stuff. I was adjusting to the change. Everyone was freaking out, glued to their phones, all the headlines, refreshing everything all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, this deep in, I'm just like, I was joking on Twitter recently that like, I feel like it's a Pokemon evolution, and my generalized anxiety and depression have evolved in their final form of agoraphobia. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I started realizing in the last like month, like, I don't want things to go back to the way they were, because I've kind of adapted to this so much, and I'm not going to say thrived, but I'm used to it, and I'm a homebody to the, you know.
Oh no, absolutely. Like it's not a popular opinion, because I think there's people that want to get back to things, maybe, but I was, in my particular situation, working from home, and I work in an art studio. So that's like not really a thing where you can do that, but they kind of made it work. So it was like, hey, we're going to do some look development on this next film, and like just use stuff around the house and, you know, whatever. So like, that's pretty cool. And I was like, this is how I want to work. Like, this working from home kind of at my own hours was like great for me. And this reopening, like the idea that I have to be in a studio with people that I may not need to be, and that I might have to like take the max to get to work, I'm like, I'm not real thrilled about it. Like this second wave, you know, we call it a second wave, but it really, there's
still the first wave.
Still first wave. It's a second wave of anxiety. You know, it's like the same, like what you're saying. I got sort of like, it brought out I had a joke tweet about it too. It was like, hey, thanks for bringing out everybody's inner germaphobe, agoraphobe, and misanthrope.
Yeah.
You know, like you fucking amplified that shit. And I have all of those in a little bit. And now that this kind of like, hey, let's reopen. And then, kind of made it like, oh man, now I'm super anxious about this shit. And I go back to work. I'm supposed to go back to work in a limited capacity, but have to commute to do it, which sucks. Mm-hmm. In like a week, like next week. So yeah, not real thrilled about that.
Is that based on? Is that going to happen regardless of what's going on? Because Renee's working at Kaiser, and she's hearing them saying there's a distinct possibility that they would not be surprised if a second round of shutdowns basically happens.
Oh yeah, I think, well, where I work, I'll leave their name out of it, but they're, yeah. So at Bob's Big Boy, Portland branch, they have been really good about making the workplace COVID-19 friendly. They're like, we're going to give you a tool. We're going to give you like, you know, a no-touch tool. We're going to,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Check your temperature. We're going to have like sinks and stuff that like you have a foot pedal that activates the sinks. Things like that, like all these things, like we're going to be like really proactive with it and CDC guidelines and all this stuff. And that's great. But that's the same thing. As soon as this, if like Kate Brown or whoever is like, nope, we got to lock it down again, they'll absolutely do that.
By the way, guys, 2 days ago, I saw my first Calvin peeing on Kate Brown sticker. So I'm out in Clackamas, you know, where it's a little redder.
Yeah.
In Portland proper.
So I have a question. Does Kate Brown just look like Susie with glasses?
No, it's just the words Kate Brown.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totally stupid.
So he's actually peeing on the concept of her.
He's peeing on her, yes.
Like your name. Yeah. But like, think about it. Like, really, like Kate Brown, or she basically looks like grown-up Susie with glasses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So all you had to do was do Susie with glasses and then write Kate Brown under it, I guess.
Yeah.
Be like,
so if you're not an Oregonian, we're talking about our governor. And apparently there's been some pushback because of the shutdown. People were not happy about that out here.
Yeah, I did see Wednesday and Thursday, we did a road trip all the way down, like out to Dalles, through Fossil, Clarno, Madras, Prineville, looped all the way around, did all the John Day fossil bed stuff, right? And so I saw a couple of calls to come in our business and sign the petition to recall the governor. I saw a few
yard
couple,
signs.
Yeah, I saw a couple We Heart Our Cops homemade signs on fences. But honestly, the main thing I did see was "Comes join the state of Jefferson." Lots of "Comes."
Yep, there's a lot of those signs out there. I saw those outside.
So what? Wait, what is it?
The state of Jefferson.
I don't. What?
So you take the what was it, 5? The 5 lower counties of Oregon and a bunch of tiny little counties, like a 20 in Northern California, and make that its own state. That's the currently proposed state of Jefferson.
They want to,
They want to secede.
Yeah, and their capital would be like Fort Orchard or somewhere. I forget.
Yeah, they're like the Basques.
Yeah, they're like the Basques. Thank you.
Except without any coastal region.
Well, no, they'd get the southern coast
Of the southern coast of
Oregon.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For my dead cuck hands.
No, it makes but politically, come on, Matthew, it makes sense politically. Like, what if you're not from Oregon? What you have to understand is the red parts. What have always been the red parts from when we were in high school to now. Like, for as long as since George Bush has been president, what you would say is red in Oregon is East Oregon, like Pendleton and further east, and Southern Oregon, which is like south of Eugene. So like Coos Bay, Medford, Roseburg, basically anywhere that you read about where they were like, I heard Antifa's going to show up and fuck up some shit. So we gotta stand out here with our rifles. Well, dude, nobody's showing up to Roseburg for any reason except a fucking job.
But the state's red outside of Portland and Eugene.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
like
just
3 blue counties,
absolutely.
and then the rest of the state are totally unrepresented in the government. So I can see why they're not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same.
And I can see why a shutdown is weird in a town of like 2,000 people.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely.
Where they're
like
already social distancing.
Yeah, Wheeler County is like, I don't care, right?
Yeah. If you're in Elkton, you're like, we have like
fewer.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, we have like 800 people. Like, what the fuck? Fuck off. But
yeah,
I get it. But,
I get that too.
Yeah.
And they were going to, I think, offer that we can make an application if you have a lower, square miles by population density thing that you can apply to do that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're here for a very special purpose, you guys. This is my first Wings Hauser Month that is a threefer. This is our 3rd annual year of celebrating the filmography of Wings Hauser, but we've never done 3 films in 1 month. So, and this is also ending the revival because I'm retiring the show for the foreseeable future.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
We can talk about that, Joe. Maybe at the end. Pete, I just wondered, like, you kind of wandered into this whole thing.
Yeah.
What is your awareness of Wings Hauser and his brilliance and awesomeness?
So I only knew him through you. I only knew him through the existence of Wings Hauser Month, right?
Oh, okay.
And so then I was like, do I watch the movie cold or do I learn something about him beforehand? And so I watched it cold because I thought that was a purer way to do it. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. But then I researched after, and I was like, wait, he played a private eye on. Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
He's been on every TV
He's been
show.
on everything, right? And what I thought was mostly interesting was in this movie. I could honestly, if I didn't know, if I wasn't watching the movie for you, and if it wasn't Wings Hauser Month, and if I had no idea who he was, I would when I watched this movie, my takeaway would have been Jesus. There's no question that Wings Hauser was by far the best part of this movie.
Thank you.
There's just by a mile, right?
Yeah,
now,
without going into final judgments, I'm going to agree with you there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, really, some moments that were shocking and magical, I would say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and absurd.
I think we're going to have a robust conversation.
Okay.
So in case you didn't look at the episode you downloaded, folks, we are talking about 1987's Tough Guys Don't Dance. And it was directed by and adapted from the novel by Norman Mailer. And
and it was directed by so there's a novel by Norman Mailer
that he wrote, and he adapted his own screenplay and then directed the movie. Yes.
Right.
So yes, and by the way, you guys, I was going to send this to you, but on Norman Mailer's website, there's a very interesting story from Wings Hauser talking about his relationship with Norman Mailer and how rocky it was, and how volatile, and how they eventually came to become very good friends. But there was like some blows thrown, and he was fired at one point. Like, it was very volatile. But I think Wings actually got nominated for an award or two for this performance.
Yeah,
but,
I think he got like a I can't remember what it was. It was not Academy, but
Independent Spirit or something like that.
Yeah,
that sounds
got
right.
like they got a few nods, and he got like a Best Supporting Actor, nomination. Do you want to hear the TV Guide summary to kick us off before we?
Yes. Yes. I do.
Okay. So here's the TV Guide summary. Tough Guys Don't Dance, 1987, 110 minutes. A struggling writer, Ryan O'Neal, gets tangled up in multiple love triangles, drugs, and a murder mystery, presumably to avoid working on his novel. Rated B for blood, boobs, blow, beheading, and blue language. And I hope that's not too many plosives.
That's a lot better. That's a much better summary than I would have been able to give. I mean, I can actually give one. So I took notes when I was watching this, and I can say this covers it. So on my first page, at 5 minutes 7 seconds, I wrote, "I'm lost."
Yes.
And the thing is, there's about 4 minutes of just music and shots of a beach town. So it's really 1 minute and 7 seconds.
Okay. So the most important thing about the music, we should say, first off, to set the scene as we're watching the credits, because that's what you see, is you just see a beach town, right?
Beautifully shot, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot
cinematography.
Beach town, and it turns out it's Provincetown, Massachusetts, and it's scored by Angelo Badalamenti.
Yep.
And
Fresh off of Blue Velvet. And not quite into Twin Peaks. So it's like boy. And like that's the thing, is that Isabella Rossellini is in this movie.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the humming? So in the opening,
yes,
and I was like, wait, is someone? Was that like someone in the editing room? There was like a hot mic somewhere.
No, it's like an Oscar Peterson record or whatever, right? Is he the guy that always?
No. It's like oh shit, it's like Thelonious Monk or Glenn Gould or something, where you're like, oh, you can hear him kind of doing the thing as he's doing it.
Oh, you're talking about Keith Jarrett?
No.
Okay,
Well, but he kind of does it too.
He does.
Yeah,
but
I don't want to talk about the end yet, but yes, the end music, which is a wild choice for the end of this film. You can hear humming over the whole thing into the credits, and I was like, is that intentional?
No. Matt, that happens in the beginning.
It does.
I know.
Bookends the movie.
So it's intentional, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
It's like whatever. It's like the fucking Little Drummer Boy or whatever the fuck it is. It's like I can't remember what it is. It's like a famous piece of music, but it's like ba, 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 and it's like this kind of sort of militaristic, patriotic thing, and it's like, and he's like, like a guy singing along with it.
It's a weird choice.
It's a very weird choice because it's like
the opening piece was
the same as the closing piece.
Oh, was it? I didn't notice if it was or not.
Well,
it had felt like a different day, honestly, by the time the closing music came on.
Well, I'm referring to. I don't think we're talking about the same thing, because after the opening credits, as the
Yep.
first scene starts, there's
Yep.
some music that I believe is composed by Badalamenti that is very like Bernard Herrmann, like kind of psycho-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the music before, when it was just
I'm
the
talking
scenes of the
about-
town?
There's the scene when they're setting the scene of the town.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that's kind of a militaristic rumpapum fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, I know
well-known
what you're talking
scene.
about.
I
It's
can't
the
remember what it
fucking.
is.
It's the same thing that they use at the end, but you forget because they go back and forth in the movie so much that you're like, oh right, that was the beginning, because they kind of it, and it's weird because it's a little bit like what's that fucking movie that was a big flop? Everybody fucking
Ishtar.
Guys Don't Dance?
Heaven's Gate.
Oh.
It's a bit like that. Like it feels like that. Except
Okay. So
Anyway.
one thing we need to address here is that this is not, well, you can find this very cheaply. You can get this with 3 other neo-noir kind of erotic thrillers on Amazon for $5. And it includes the film The Hot Spot with Don Johnson, which is an awesome neo-noir film. I highly recommend it if you like kind of Jim Thompson-y or like what's his name, Charles Wilford, or is that his name, Pete? The guy that wrote Miami Blues.
Oh no, that's oh shit. I can't remember.
Oh,
Miami
well,
Blues was great though, wasn't it?
was
Yeah.
Charles Wilford is the dog from Sesame Street that
He
played,
had the
that
he
played
had-
Barkley.
He wrote the
God.
Hoke Mosley books,
Yeah,
which were
I read
really
like
popular.
4 of those, 3 or
Yeah,
at least
I'm
3
pretty
of
sure.
those. Yeah.
I know it's Wilford. I'm pretty sure it's Charles. Anyway,
I don't know what
this film you can buy cheaply online. It's on its own DVD for $10, or on that four for $5, and with a couple films I recommend. But my point being that this isn't free, which is part of our kind of creed, right? However, you can find a version of this on Daily Motion. I think if you look for Tough Guys Don't Dance full movie 1987, I think you will find it in 2 parts on Daily Motion. So if you're feeling extremely cheap, you can watch it there for free. However, it can be cheaply gotten, is my point. So my other point is that this is not like most of the stuff we do on the show, because most of the stuff we do is Drek in the sense of low production values or auteur ego vanity projects. Where this was it's produced by Golden Globus, right? So, it's not big, but it was a rather large release on a lot of screens when it came out, and it tanked hard, and I think it disappeared in like 2 weeks. But it had wide release, and it was prestige compared to other stuff we talk about on this show.
I think it cost like $4 million to make, and it made back like $800,000.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
So yeah, it was like a flop by any standard, even though it got some it got mostly panned, but it got some reviews that were, I think, more generous maybe than it deserves because of the kind of mailer clout.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I wonder what the clout was, what the clout level was post release.
Well, okay,
Right?
good point. So, as Joe said, this has Ryan O'Neal and Isabella Rossellini. So there's 2 towers, of talent there in this film. I'm basing the Ryan O'Neal thing on Paper Moon. So that's like the only thing I know him for. So he's really talented in my mind.
Because
can I say something about Ryan O'Neal? Because I did I'm not a huge fan of his. I know
you've
a
seen
few
So
things,
Fine,
but
right?
so So Ryan O'Neal, for those who don't know, he started as an actor in Peyton Place, which is a soap opera on television, and then he started doing films. And it was sort of a lot of critics' idea that he maybe didn't have the chops to pull it off in film, which we see that all the time, like TV actors, and they're like, maybe you can't quite pull it off on the big screen. But having said that, Ryan O'Neal has, like, when he's playing kind of a sort of a bland character like this, he can do a lot. Like, I don't know why you can't see the film Driver. I tried to look it up. I've seen it in its entirety. There's a film that came out in, I don't know, 73, something like that, called The Driver. It's the inspiration for Drive, and also Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And I had seen it before either of those films came out, but it was directed by Walter Hill. And it's phenomenal. Like, it's about a guy who's a heist driver who's played by Ryan O'Neal, and it's fantastic. But it's one of the films that Ryan O'Neal, like, he's like, Walter Hill. There's like The Thief of something. I can't remember the name of it, but he's like, yeah, I wish I hadn't done these pictures, and like he writes that off as like, I wish I hadn't done that, which is crazy to me. So
yeah,
he comes off great in that thing. And he comes off okay in this movie, honestly. Like, he's not the worst thing in Tough Guys Don't Dance.
Well, the thing that I noticed is that it takes a special actor to be able to get through scenes with that accent that the woman had, which was more speech impediment than accent, right?
Yes.
And like he didn't break. I mean, I'm sure the blooper reel was amazing, but like, they got scenes out of him, right, where he was looking at her and listening to those words and responding and not leaving.
I want to talk about the accents.
There's an endurance element.
Absolutely, Pete, you're absolutely right, because so my wife and I were watching this, and we were like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So there are community theater level of Southern accents, and I do declare, and blah, blah, blah. And then like, to where it was like, it became like garbage mouth, like didn't make any sense. It was like, I don't know what you said. That's not like.
I think all the drinking Ryan O'Neal does on screen is real.
And all the cocaine everyone does is very real.
Yeah.
To counteract the drinking.
This has a massive coke film on it to me. Like, just, it feels like everyone was drinking heavily and doing coke, and just like Norman Mailer's like, all right, guys, let's try this.
So it's basically like Caddyshack. It's the same set. Except that when they're like, okay, and action, like everyone straight faces, instead of like everyone goof around, you got Harold Ramis going like, go nuts, everyone, like, it's like Norman Mailer going like, no, like melodrama,
Okay, we have to get something out of the way in case folks haven't heard this or seen this film. Sorry. So
the most famous thing in this movie.
Okay, so there's that, but like, we're going to need to do at least a very broad shotgun synopsis, which is so hard for this movie.
Oh my God.
Because
so many flashbacks within flashbacks.
This often referenced in reviews of this film is The Big Sleep, which is famously not in quality, but in the famously like confusing, where I believe that I'm trying to think who was tasked with writing the screenplay of The Big Sleep.
I have no idea.
It wasn't Faulkner. It was Capote. It was something like that. But like they went to Chandler and said, "Hey, by the way, is this character doing this or this?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then they realized like he was more into the characters and the vibe of the writing than he was the plot. Because the plot of The Big Sleep, I just listened to this book on tape 2 months ago. It's fucking confusing.
It is. It is.
And The Big Lebowski is a famous nod to the confusing unimportance of plot and a noirish detective, thing, but all through comedy.
Yeah.
This, I don't know if Mailer was intending to be confusing, but this is, like you said, flashbacks within flashbacks. Someone doing a flashback is telling you something they couldn't know and prefacing it with the moment that you hear the trigger being pulled, your life flashes before your eyes. And you can see things that even you weren't privy to.
Right.
That's how he sets that up.
Yeah. I was like, that's not real. But then the thing is, the fact that doesn't happen or exist, I swallowed it by then, because honestly, there is so many things that people said in that movie that people don't say.
Oh my God.
That I was like, like I actually started writing them down. Like there was saying, he did this thing where he would invent sayings like, tickle my stick, or rolling around in the same honey jar, right? Like you don't get, I mean, I guess in noir that kind of happens a little bit, but you don't really get to, if you want people to think that it's actual people actually saying things, you don't get to invent all the idioms, right? I mean, you could, like, Mork can say nanu nanu because he's from a different planet, right? Yeah. But everyone here was like a terrestrial human being saying things that were equivalent. Like,
they're like, well, Pete, I've never been to New England, or the South, but I will tell you this: I don't know Norman Mailer well. I haven't read the only thing actually that I've read of his front to back is this fucking novel. So, a friend of mine, Ben, was like, here's a fucking Norman Mailer novel. It's whatever. Like, he wasn't like, it's great. He's like, here you go. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And it's like, it's Norman Mailer, but he's doing trying to do like a hard-boiled thing, So it's kind of like William Faulkner doing like his pulpy, Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. It's like, here's my cheap cash in, and also like it's a genre novel. So I read it and I was like, it was not terrible, but it was also completely forgettable. And I will tell you the one thing I remember about it, and they kept it in the movie. And it was, the main character was talking about another character, and he said he seems like the kind of guy who washes his hands after having sex. Or in the movie they kept it because Norman Mailer was like, you got to keep that line. He's like, oh, well, he's the kind of guy who like seems like he's washed his hands after making love, but I don't know about being a swish, and so, and this is a good point to maybe say, Norman Mailer wrote this screenplay, yes, but who's thanked in the special thanks? Robert Towne.
Really?
Yes. Oh, you don't know this? Okay. Robert Towne, famous screenwriter of Chinatown, The Last Detail, Mission Impossible 1 and 2, a famous script doctor around town, a ton of shit. He is in the special thanks, and that made me look it up. And it's like, he script doctored this.
Wow.
And that's weird to me because I'm trying to picture a guy like Norman Mailer who's like, fuck no, that stays in. And a guy like Robert Towne going, what if we say it this way? Isn't that weird? Like, because
no, it actually makes sense. He probably asked for lots of advice and ignored all of it.
Yeah, but Robert Towne came in to make it make sense. And that's the thing that makes it crazy. Is like, I get it. I've seen Chinatown like a million times and I love it, but it's confusing. But that's what noir is modern noir is supposed to be. So he took Chinatown, which was 1974, and it was set in the fucking 30s. And he was like, but what if I set it modern and made it Coke and made it not interesting and made it like just as so it feels like Norman Mailer's thing was either to make fun of it the way that David Lynch was sort of lampooning soap opera stuff with Twin Peaks, or, and that's being generous, or he's like, oh, well, I'm doing a hard-boiled thing. So what's noir? Being all tied up and confusing. And it's sort of like what you're saying with the Big Sleep thing. Like, if everyone can't really untangle it, then that's noir. It's like, well, no, actually, it's not. I hate that when I come out of a story like that and I go, wait a minute, what was this guy's end game though? If he killed that cop, what was he going to do?
Okay.
You know?
So,
Anyway.
Yep.
one thing we need to address is why I picked this, because I didn't just pick it because of Wings Hauser. If you go to YouTube and search the term worst line read ever, you will find a scene that has Ryan O'Neal on a beach reading a letter from Isabella Rossellini. And his reaction to the terrible news he receives from this letter is considered like why this film is notorious.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Can we just play that, because I think we need to get out of the way. It's kind of the elephant in the room.
I was hearing.
My husband is having an affair with your wife. I don't think we should talk about it. Unless you're prepared to kill them.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God.
No George Burns to be seen anywhere.
No.
A lot of oh godding.
That would be an interesting addition.
If you were like, oh God, you man. Oh God, you man. There's like,
Actually,
oh God, you devil. Oh God, you man.
It would be interesting if someone did like break and start talking to the audience George Burns style, like in the middle of the movie. They're like, "Can you believe this?"
George Burns just comes on screen. He's like, "Jesus Christ, what a whiny baby! Can you believe this guy? My wife cheated on me several times."
So I'm trying to.
Oh God, oh man.
I'm trying to think of a elevator synopsis we could give to the person who has not seen this, so they can follow along. But I feel that's a fool's errand.
I feel like,
yeah, Pete, just tell them the high level bullet points of the setting.
Okay, so most of this takes place in a beach town. Ryan O'Neal is a ex-bartender, ex-coke dealer, novelist who never has written or does write.
Nope.
And as it starts out, he's got a rich wife with an accent that is not credible. And there's a lot of big parties. In fact, it actually it was like, like in the Thin Man movies, how like Nick and Norrell Charles, they'll come home and there's a crazy party going on and there's all these people they don't know, and there's a boxer crying and somebody calling long distance to their mom, and it's that
Asta's
vibe.
Barking.
Yeah, it's that vibe, but sad and dark in 80s.
and like Hamptons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like if the Hamptons was, and everything looks like, by the way, everything, because, and I thought that it was just because, like NBC shows were cheap. So like if Columbo showed like, they're like a rich person, I'm like, why do you have this model home? But even this movie is like, oh no, that's the rich aesthetic at the time, is like your house looks like a fucking Nagel painting. Like everything's white and cheap looking.
White rattan furniture.
Yeah, and it looks cheap as shit, and it's like, anyway.
This is going to be really rough, because this movie makes no sense.
I feel like we need to say that primarily the first hour of this hour and 50 minutes is a flashback.
Yes.
And it's Ryan O'Neal talking to his father, played by Lawrence Tierney, famous from Reservoir Dogs, being Joe, the organizer of the heist.
Who was good.
He was good. Yeah, he plays Dougie, his father, and Ryan O'Neal is Tim Madden. And he's coming downstairs. His dad is down there, and
he's got a crowbar.
And he's got a crowbar because he doesn't know who's in his house. And he starts explaining to his father what's happened over the last summer that's created the conditions to be in this place we are, and how his wife left, and how he had a massive blackout and something really bad happened, and he doesn't know what happened. So the first hour of this film is him talking through
what the hell happened,
what his life was like before, and how some severed heads ended up in it.
Yeah.
So he has a tattoo that he was like, I don't know how that tattoo got there, but we find out that's a name of somebody he knows, and we find out that it's all through flashback, and it's sort of like, it's like Memento Light Like, okay, well, you just
Aim mentioned Memento when we were watching this, especially like the shaving cream numbers on the mirror.
Yeah,
like, reminders, like, why not a calendar? Why not a piece of paper?
Yeah, yeah. It's like you don't actually have memento disease. You just had a fucking drug blackout. Like you just partied too hard, man. And he's like, very strange, right? Yeah.
And like in a weird backwards inside out way, we find out that like this wife that he has left him, he was her chauffeur, I think, and she left a previous rich husband for him. It was a messy divorce. She took his money, but he met her in a very improbable swingers weekend when he was dating Isabella Rossellini even before that, and then he randomly decides, let's go to Florida and meet this weird couple where a preacher and his wife have sex with strangers, and she was originally that wife. Yeah. And then we find out that the rich husband she left, played by Fraser Crane, actually is where the money came from, right? But it was also a school chum of his long ago, right? I think I have all that right. And the reason I sound like there's a question mark after everything is like it's been 4 or 5 days, and it's really hard to keep this all straight in your head.
Yeah, I actually was bummed when, so for the listener, we were supposed to meet we were supposed to do this on what, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
So I literally watched it Monday night, and I was like, cool, this will be fresh in my mind. I looked up stuff, and probably it sounds like you, Pete, did the same thing, because I was like,
I watched it the Friday before, so yeah.
I was like, fuck. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to remember all this fucking crazy shit in 4 days. I'm like, it's a fucking nightmare.
Okay, so there's like a Russian nesting doll thing going on though in his flashbacks, right? There's flashbacks within flashbacks,
and there's a makeup faux pas that makes it even harder because he looks older in the flashbacks.
Yes,
I don't know if you guys noticed that, and so I was like, wait, what?
So we find out. Again, you could almost do a memento cut of this and put it in chronological order. It might make a little more sense, but I don't think so. But he meets Isabella Rossellini while he's tending bar.
Right.
They date and get swiftly bored. He gets swiftly bored and starts looking into Swinger magazine.
Right.
Yeah. And he finds a couple that's willing to have sex with them. They go to North Carolina to meet them. Penn Jillette is the male, and his future wife with the terrible accent we've been talking about.
Comedy Central.
What is her name? Something Earlene. Patty? Patty Lorraine. It was Patty Earlene, but because when we met her, she was white trash married to a preacher.
Right.
And then they have a night of swinger sex. And apparently it's so good, even though it's terrible. She basically says the next day after they attend church, I'm going to marry a rich guy. I'm going to become a stewardess and marry a rich guy and divorce him and get all his money and then support you as a writer.
Right.
Because of last night, which makes no sense.
No.
And I mean, Isabella Rossellini's pissed. They start fighting on the way home because of the swinging. They get into a terrible car crash.
She loses a baby.
She just loses the ability to have children. They break up. What doesn't make sense is he immediately literally in the hospital room gives her coke,
and then he's in prison.
And then she says, "You're going to screw this up." And I think we missed a scene there. I think it got cut where he's doing a deal, and he ends up in jail for dealing coke.
Right.
And then when he gets out, he is sweeping in a bar, and Patty.
Right.
Now Lorraine, formerly Earlene, shows up, and they get married. And we jump forward to the beginning of the film when they're just doing coke and having a bunch of strangers over dancing to Meg Tillis singing a terrible 80s pop song. Pam Tillis. Right.
Mel Tillis does one song, and then
Mel Tillis does a song, but his daughter Pam does a song in the beginning that's a terrible pop song.
Oh boy! Oh God!
Great party. Pipe it down.
Oh, hey, I'm back
So that happens. And then we meet Francis Fisher. I don't even know how to talk about this fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So what things go sideways. Okay. The big party that we saw is when Wings Hauser shows up.
Right.
And he is the local chief of police. And his name is Alvin.
Oh man,
I knew what it was.
Yeah, I knew what it was too.
It's a very striking name.
Yeah.
Alvin Luther Regency.
Regency, that's right. And they just call him by his last name. Mostly.
Yes, everyone just calls him Regency.
Yeah.
So he shows up and drinks some booze. People are doing coke. He doesn't seem to care. Man, this is hard to talk about. I'm trying to get to.
Someone has a trumpet for some reason, right?
Oh my God!
Where did the trumpet come? Like someone walks. Was it Lorraine? Or Patty?
It's Patty or it's Patty Lorraine. Can we play that clip?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about how I read some critical review that said like basically Norman Mailer does that thing where everybody talks like him, like all the dialogue sounds exactly like him no matter who's saying it.
Oh, wait, that explains a lot because I did write. Okay, because I don't know this about him, but I wrote down at one point, has Norman Mailer met people? Because it's like someone who's never met a person.
So
pretending.
To set this clip up, Ryan O'Neal is sulking at his own party because he hates these things.
Right.
People are doing coke and dancing to terrible music. And he's talking to Wings Hauser's character, the chief of police, and drinking booze. As Pete said, there's some trumpet music, and that's Ryan O'Neal's wife coming in. And here's some a choice exchange.
You trying to wake up all the ghosts in Helltown?
That's the idea. Don't let those motherfuckers sleep.
Lady, you sound like a witch.
Well, honey, I am a witch. Good blondes are.
You're not a real blonde.
My pussy hair was bright gold in high school. Until I went out and scorched it with the football team.
This film is comprised
of
exchanges like that. It is stitched together in Frankenstein manner of the most improbable, bizarre, like showy. Right? Like, I mean, it feels to me like when you watch a Kevin Smith movie or a Tarantino film and it's like, oh God, he really was excited about putting that line in there.
Yeah.
It just stands out like a turd in a punch bowl.
It really does.
The whole film is made of dialogue like that.
Yeah, the whole film was made of dialogue like that, where it's like he had an idea for a line, right? I think, and it actually is a good quote because it exemplifies both the fact that it's not a very believable thing for someone to say, the fact that it makes no sense, and that it's just kind of icky.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of stuff where you're just like, ick. Like, what? Like, what's the motivation behind that? Hard to say.
So, listeners, we just lost Joe. We've had some repeated technical issues, and Joe just bowed out and said, go on without me, which is unfortunate because Joe actually read the book that Mailer wrote before he wrote the screenplay, and I had a ton of questions for him, but we're going to press on in ignorance, which is like kind of my specialty. So Pete, you've never read any Mailer or any long form Mailer?
No, in fact, after I watched it, I was like, have I read him? I don't think I have. So then I looked up everything. I was like, nope, I've read nothing.
Okay.
I've read nothing.
What is your impression of him as a creative person? Not outside of this movie. Sorry.
Outside of the movie, I would have. So this is from afar. Like, haven't read him, haven't talked about him, don't know anything. I was like, okay, I know he's a great American writer, kind of maybe a tough guy, man's man writer, and I know that he stabbed his wife.
He did. Wait, what?
Yep.
Like killed her?
Nope. Almost though. Yep.
Okay.
I know those things, and so that's all I know.
Okay. So we'll do an ignorance share.
All right.
I know that he wrote Executioner's Song.
Yep.
Which is a nonfiction book about the execution of Gary Gilmore, the killer. So that book was on my mom's bookshelf growing up, so I was interested in it, but I never read it. My other reference point for him, also that general like man's man thing, I got just from picking up like cultural osmosis.
Yep.
And there's a reference in the Simpsons episode where it's like Mary Poppins. She catches Bart reading like Play Dude magazine, and she basically says like, your punishment is like to read the entire thing, including all the articles, or like all the even like the article written by Norman Mailer about his. She said the latest claptrap from Norman Mailer about his waning libido. His exact words. So I feel like that quote gave me a lot of information about this film.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
I did have questions, which we can't answer because we don't know Mailer's work, but
nope, which is great. We're the perfect people to be.
He's really hung up on sexuality and adequacy and homosexuality.
Yeah.
Like to the point of like being distracting to me. Like,
definitely.
I think literally in the first scene of the movie.
And it's not, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's not a thing that like doesn't play well now in 2020. It's like when it was released, it would have been distracting. Right.
Every character at some point questions whether or not they're gay or someone they're talking to is a homosexual.
Yeah.
Closeted.
Yeah.
It's a little
obsessed.
That and satisfying women, being very masculine is an obsession.
Yeah. And all the talk between him and his dad is all about like, being a wimp or not,
Yeah. So in the first scene of the film, when we talked about when Ryan O'Neal's character wakes up and goes downstairs because he hears someone in his house, which I think he hears a kettle going off or something.
Right.
And it's his dad, Doug. Here's like just a snippet of their conversation where he's saying basically, I think Ryan O'Neal's saying, my wife, Patty, left. And he's saying, you should have married Isabella Rossellini.
Right.
You married the wrong girl, that's all. Should have married the other one. The Italian girl. What was her name?
Madeline.
Yeah, that's the one you should have married.
I thought you liked Patty Lorraine.
I liked her guts. But certain dames ought to wear a T-shirt that says, hang around, I'll make a cocksucker out of you.
Thanks.
Come on, Tim. Just a figure of speech, nothing personal.
You always worried I'd turn out queer.
Well, your mother was delicate. She spoiled you a lot. Yeah, I worried about you.
Oh, I did my 3 years in the slammer stand, and nobody made me a punk.
Good for you. I didn't want to ask.
Yeah, so I watched this with my daughter. So she's like, I don't understand. What's a punk? And I was like, you know what? Let's just keep watching the movie.
In this instance, punk apparently means someone sodomized in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
So literally, that's the opening scene of this film after the credits. And
so it was as out of context for us watching as it is for someone listening now, right?
Yes. And that fixation on being gay or being perceived as gay runs throughout the entire film as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And so does the obsession of fixation on pleasuring women.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like dudes taking other dudes, ladies,
Yeah. So he,
and so it would be, if I knew what I was talking about and had read something, it would be interesting to know, like in general, is that the lens through which he sees the world, and is that like what everything is basically about? Because it's kind of what this was about, right?
And so that Simpsons quote kind of was like confirmation bias to me. Like I was coming into like, claptrap about his waning libido. Like so he's fixated on sex.
Yeah,
apparently very much so.
Also, claptrap's great. Great word.
Yeah.
God, we're this far in and we haven't talked about the heads.
Yeah. I think we need to. I have a quote here about it, I think.
You buy coincidence.
I do buy it. Something bad's about to happen. Strange things fall into place.
I agree.
You agree on what? Something rotten has happened. Come on, kid, tell me.
You're not ready.
I'm ready. Come on, level with me.
Last week, 2 people were murdered.
Who did it?
I don't know.
Have you seen the bodies?
They're in the cellar. part of the bodies.
Tim.
I didn't do it. I don't think I did. But my head's been peculiar lately. I have blackouts. I hallucinate.
Let's have all of it.
It's been a bad 5 days.
Yeah.
So, heads.
Heads. He finds heads. He finds heads where he stashes his drugs, which he stashes his drugs in a hole in the woods, which, you know,
like a teenager.
I'm no drug smuggler, but that just seems like didn't seem like a very convenient place or a very dry place.
Yeah, especially in this foggy coastal town in New England.
Yeah. And then how come the cop knew where that was?
Because he's a cop and he knows everything.
Right.
Yeah. So you're alluding to the fact that Wings Hauser's character, the captain,
Regency,
knows about his stash and is telling him, "Why don't you go out there and move it?" So I think we actually have a clip here.
You still have your marijuana patch in Truro Woods?
What do you care?
I don't. You know me. I like marijuana. I like your homegrown. Puts feathers on my ass. Godly stuff.
You ought to be on TV.
I could reach a good many people.
Reach me. Why am I here?
Your stash in Truro.
I don't keep anything in Truro.
Kidding is kidding. I am talking about where you keep your grass.
All right. Why are we talking about that?
I can't tell you everything.
So this is really where the
air
quotes plot begins, because the chief of police he met at that wild party has called him in. What you don't know at this point, listener, is that Tim has gone to the local bar called the Widow's Walk and met a porn star and her doting husband from the West Coast. And he proceeded to take them somewhere, and they did some cocaine. And he said, "I could fuck your wife in front of you." And he does. And the guy is weeping and crying while he watches his wife being porked by this guy. And he wakes up in the morning, blackout drunk with a new tattoo and a bloody denim jacket in the front of his truck.
Yeah.
And then he gets a call from the captain to come in and talk to him. And that's what you heard about. So the stash is a major plot point.
Yeah, he goes back to it a couple times, doesn't he?
He does. So the first time he goes out there, there is a trash bag and a human head. And he tears the bag open and sees blonde hair, and he kind of freaks out and just runs.
Right.
And so he doesn't know if that's the porn star that he had sex with the night before or his wife. And he doesn't remember anything from like a day or two ago. So that's our big kind of noirish setup there. From here, it just kind of explodes into a bunch of bizarre subplots and cascading flashbacks, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you're definitely not super interested in what happened. But you know, you find out anyway. I mean, and this is the part where I say it like that, like without knowing about the Wings Hauser thing, he's very much the best part of the movie. It's just because every scene he's in, I am actually all of a sudden paying attention. And it's only because he's doing something baffling, like when he starts whistling, you know, right? Uh-huh. That's pretty great. And you know, I won't talk about the head injury part until the end, because that was I felt, I don't know. I remember one time when I was a kid, there was an assembly, like a talent show assembly, and I was probably like fourth grade, and some band of other kids gets on stage, and they they like something went wrong, and like they never even played the song. Like everyone cheered and they were up there. I think it was a trio, and like they started to kind of play it, and no sound came out. And they look at each other, and they're clearly panicking, and it never really happens. And then so like the guitar player leaves. They start leaving. That I guess just not going to happen. And everyone's kind of like starts muttering and mumbling. And the drummer, still behind the drums, just goes. There's this huge big drum freak out, and everyone cheers, and they leave. And in a way, I kind of felt like that's what Wings Hauser was doing. He's like, you know what? There's nothing happening here, so let me inject something. I feel like that might have been what was going on. And no one, And so when you say that they didn't get along, that he and Norman Mailer didn't get along, maybe that's maybe that's part of it.
Yeah. Considering how convoluted this thing was, I kept tripping on the fact that, you watch these movies that are like, based on this novel, screenplay by whatever, and it's like 3 degrees of separation from the source.
Yeah.
This is literally Norman Mailer wrote the book, wrote the screenplay, and directed it.
Right.
So any kind of like, this is literally his vision. There's no discrepancy. There's no disparity. There's no like, oh, that got lost in translation, because he is literally shepherding this every step of the way to your eyeballs and your ears.
He's got no one to blame.
So the fact that it makes no fucking sense is bizarre to me. And the fact that, like, I mean, I guess the 10-year thing, I guess I kind of get that, the 10-year for dialogue. Like, like, in my opinion, like, I've talked about this on the show a bit, but like, I can't stand reading Stephen King books. Like, I like his short stories because it's concise and it's whatever, but like, his novels are tedious, and his character development and his dialogue is just atrocious to me. And it just reeks of like this self-awareness and this clunkiness. So like this whole film, like we were saying earlier, it's like just comprised of bad dialogue. Yeah. Which to me kind of elevates it to a surreal kind of stratosphere of weirdness. Like, can we just play? We talked about this briefly in the past, but like, during the flashback, when he's talking about how he met Isabella Rossellini and Madeline, and she was his true love, and then immediately they jump forward to them being bored and him wanting to swing. Right. Here's how he brings up the concept of swinging to his girlfriend. Listen to this.
I saw something in Screw magazine, in the personals. Young white Christian couple seeks outlet weekend with other Christian couple. That made me curious.
And let me guess, you wrote them a letter.
Here's how they look.
He must have the longest prick in Christendom.
Why do you say that?
There is no other explanation for him.
It's an 8-hour drive. They live in North Carolina. We take a quick look and we turn around. We need a trip.
We need a trip. Yeah, we got to get out of the house. We need a trip. So let's,
So jump cut, literally, from that moment to him in bed with the female of the swinging situation. Right. And Isabella Rossellini in bed with the male. And she is moaning. And the wife is saying, oh, wow, she's really into my husband. He's got like a huge cock and blah, blah, blah. Like, we're just inside Norman Mailer's fucking psyche here. Yeah. Like, his insecurities. And
I also have to admit, the Ryan O'Neal and the lady with the terrible accent, they're, also under a blanket. Doing something that you can't imagine, that wouldn't actually make sense. Like, I don't understand what it was they were supposed to have been doing. I think it involved mostly knees.
Yes, physicality wise, there's some oddness there, but she does. I watched this 2 or 3 times. She does mention there when they resume sex, saying something to the effect of, "You Yankees have tongues like tallywhackers," which I think means you Northern boys perform oral sex so well it's like a penis.
It doesn't really make sense, but
I don't know. I don't know. At any rate, Penn Jillette, right? I mean, you have to see young Penn Jillette. That was weird.
That was weird. I knew it was him, and I still had a hard time recognizing him.
Can I play you So this is Patty when she's poor white trash.
Okay.
So she has this arc where she marries up
Right.
to a rich guy named Wardley Meeks III, and then she marries Ryan O'Neal's character, Tim Madden, but she's Southern, and at this point, her accent is so bizarre to me. She says the word "be" like "bay," and just
Right.
listen to this.
You could be whatever you want to be. What be?
A writer.
A writer. Well, I want to get rid of Big Stupid and be an airline stewardess. Find a rich guy, marry him. Then we'll meet again. I'll divorce the rich man, marry you, and make you a writer.
You're gonna give me all this for one night?
You mock me for life.
Okay, so I have to mention before we dive into her delivery, he's saying, "You will do this for me after one night together," and she says, "You marked me for life." Okay, so Norman Mailer is so fucked in his insecurities sexually that his girlfriend is being screwed by this other guy with a huge cock, and she's moaning all night long. But he has it both ways.
Yeah.
Also, the night they spent together, which is admittedly lesser, marked her forever. Like I couldn't wrap my head around his sexual macho shit.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's bizarre. And so let's talk about her accent.
Yeah, I mean,
Community theater, right?
Yeah, like that accent should have had like its own billing. Like,
so Francis Ford Coppola
was powerful,
involved in the production of this on a very high executive level.
I saw that, like very high. Like he probably didn't see any dailies.
Yes.
Right?
No.
Right.
Basically, to the point of where I believe in Wings Hauser's letter about that's posted on Mailer's website, he basically says something along the lines of like, they didn't want me on this film. Norman Mailer really wanted the gal that played Patty, like really wanted her. And so Coppola like used that as leverage to get me in cast as Regency.
Oh, interesting.
So like he wanted, I think her name's Deborah Sundland. He wanted her so bad that he was willing to take on this actor that he wasn't really interested in having in one of the major roles. I'm not understanding why he wanted her, because we've played some clips. We heard the pussy hair scorching.
And she's got a really big, long like speech towards the end, right?
Yeah.
And it's yeah. I mean, it was very much like I remember feeling like, oh, they gave her, they wanted her to have this moment to like shine. It was incoherent, so I can't tell you what it was about, but there is a really big long speech that she gives to Regency at one point, right there towards the end. Right.
Is that when they're out there? Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we haven't met much, common in film noir or neo noir or whatever, is coincidence. Coincidence and fate,
right,
loom large. Somehow, for some reason, which I don't know if is intentional, that woman who just said, "I'm going to marry a rich guy and then come back and support you," marries like basically his best friend from Exeter, right, his college buddy. That's coincidence, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
No, but his name is Wardley Meeks III. And if you thought her accent was something, let's meet him.
I want you to comprehend me. I desire Patty Lorraine back.
Why?
Now, that girl is a social creature, true promise. And you have no idea how quickly she developed under my tutelage. My Patty Lorraine and I, together again, would be able to give the finest, craziest, most legendary parties this great American republic has ever seen.
Yeah, he's got a real cat on a hot tin roof thing going on, doesn't he?
Yes, but community theater level.
Right. Yeah.
And by non-Southern people.
Yeah. So
sex is a big part of this, but did you notice that parties are really important in this.
Yes. Well, there certainly are to her and to him, right? Because when she's married to Ryan O'Neal, it's all about these parties that he hates, right? So that's obviously her thing. But then the thing that we haven't talked about the seance.
We have to talk about the seance.
You know, there's mystical things are injected here and there in ways that aren't really ever followed up on, and so
or validated.
So I don't know if there are like things that were written out or edited out, but there's elements of the occult that do show up, right? That don't, and they are used to kind of paste over things that wouldn't normally, like, well, how did we get from here to here? It's like, oh, well, you know, just
a vision,
because magic, right? A little way, like, you know, remember like in the X-Files, you know how like there'd be something at the end where you're like, wait, but what? Like, how did we get there? And it's like, don't worry about it. There's a couple of those.
65% of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I wondered too, because I've watched this multiple times now because I wanted to digest it. I don't know what the seance means.
I don't either.
It doesn't. I
mean, she saw her own death, right? Like we saw.
She did. And so did a local tough named Spider. I was super into Spider, and I forgot the other dude's name.
Yeah, me too.
There's two toughs, and they look like in Arrested Development, like the hot cops. Like they look
like hot cops.
Like I want a stripper, but I want it to look like a meth dealer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've got two guys. You're gonna love Spider and
yeah.
I wish I could remember the other guy's name, but they're ridiculous. I think at one point, Ryan O'Neal's character is so concerned about what they saw in the vision. So the seance happens on Halloween night.
Right.
And Patty Lorraine and Spider both start screaming suddenly, and they don't talk about what they saw, but they saw something horrifying. So at some point, when things go sideways, Ryan O'Neal's character goes to visit Spider and says, I want to know what you saw.
I'm here to talk about the seance.
Don't bring it up. That night was horrendous. Disruptive.
What did you see in that seance?
What your wife saw.
How do you know you saw the same thing?
She was screaming with me.
What did you see?
Patty Lorraine, dead. With her head cut off.
Which is cool, but it doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't.
Like, what if that? Yeah.
Story.
Like, what if that hadn't happened?
Yeah.
It would make no difference, right?
Literally the same film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
although there is the scene, and I know we're jumping around a lot, but so does the movie. So I feel like it's fair.
Yeah, we're totally there.
There is the scene where Ryan O'Neal kicks the shit out of them, right? Because he was lured out in the woods, and they lay in wait for him, and in Wardley's silver white Rolls Royce, I think it was, I forget, and then he beats them up. But the thing that's great about it is when he's heading there, and this is like got to be over an hour into the movie. When he's heading there, all of a sudden he's heading there with a dog.
It's right? 1 hour and 2 minutes into the film. You're eerily perfect. And yes, the dog comes out of nowhere.
Ta-da! It's like Gazoo. Right? It's like all of a sudden it's not a new dog. It's not a stray dog.
Yeah.
It's the dog he's had for years that you never saw or heard about up till then.
It's a golden retriever we did not know existed.
Yeah. And is there purely for the purpose of getting stabbed 5 minutes later.
But for me, like the main thing of import from that whole sequence of like, so he starts fighting the other dude, Spider starts, the dog attacks Spider.
Yep.
And then you see the worst golden retriever puppet in cinema history
like
while they fight.
It's like a pinata.
And then on top of everything else, we get to hear Mailer's bizarre sense of dialogue where he makes Ryan O'Neal's character say, Your knife is in my dog.
Yep.
That's literally like fucking Conehead, like English 101. Like, so you approach the situation. Your dog's dead and there's a knife in it. What do you say? Your knife is in my dog. We are from France.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So there's that.
And again, what if that hadn't happened?
Yeah. So the point of that was narratively to tie Wardley Meeks the Third into Spider and the other thug, so that Ryan O'Neal's character realizes, oh, like this character from my past and these thugs, these drug
together
are all together. So something's going on.
Yeah.
So, wow, coincidence again. So he finds out suddenly that this woman, Isabel Rossellini's character, Madeline, who he loved and who couldn't have children and they broke up, has married Regency, the cop, the psycho cop.
Wait, he tells him that, right? Because he shows him a picture of kids that aren't real.
He says, yeah. So he says, an old friend told me to tell you hi.
Yeah.
Madeline, I married her and we had 2 kids. And he's like, wait, what? I didn't think she could have kids. And he shows her, he shows them pictures, and we find out later that those are his nephews.
Right.
But there's another, so he goes out to visit Madeline.
Right. And we have to say that Regency, being a cop, he decorates his house with guns. Right. That is his.
And there's a picture on the wall that I will find before I die. That is Regency in the green berets, wearing a camo tank top and I think a beret, and holding a bloody machete and menacing the camera.
Right.
The coolest fucking prop photo I've ever seen with Wings Hauser in it. I need that. If anybody can find it, please.
I can understand why you want it.
So here's a little audio from that visit to Madeline.
You chose Patty Lorraine. I hope you're happy because I am. Mr. Regency and I make out 5 times a night. That's what I call him, Mr. 5.
Again. Norman, you can't have been a happy man.
This sexual inadequacy fear.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel bad railing on him so much because maybe I'd read something and it would be good, but this just plays out as so transparently screwed up and scared. And it's just so weird that, like, for a movie that, like, what that is, the reason you would notice it as a movie at all is because a famous American writer wrote the book and then did the screenplay and then directed it. But the thing is that he's the worst part of the movie, right? The writing and the directing is the bad part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I did like the scene when Regency hauls Tim into the police station and they're talking about evidence.
Yeah. Right.
There's this great little monologue here about this case.
No, this is great. Yep.
I'd like to tell you a story about a strange case. There was this young man. He'd pick up a girl from time to time, take her to one of those old-fashioned tourist cabins, where he'd take Polaroids of her in the nude, click. Then he'd kill her, after which, click, he'd take a Polaroid of the dead body, after which he would paste both photographs in an album. Where his mother, he lived with his mother. She got nosy, broke the little lock on the album, opened it up, took a look, and fainted. But when she came to, she called the authorities, and that's when they had him. Why? Evidence.
Why do you tell me this story?
Because it turns me on. I'm a law enforcement officer, and it turns me on. Does my story turn you on?
You didn't tell it well enough.
Wouldn't a good DA like to have you on a witness stand?
Yeah.
Great little scene.
Yep. And that's what I mean. It's like you wake up when he's in. You know, when he's there, you do wake up and pay attention.
That was amazing. I if you're interested in watching this film,
at this point,
I would pause it at this point and watch it, because at this we're gonna be full spoilers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the reaction that is revealed thing is that the porn star and her foppish husband were actually drug dealing with Patty and were muling drugs with Patty's ex-husband / Tim's ex-college friend,
right,
being the banker, $2 million cash to do a drug deal and get $10 million back in return.
Right.
So all of the heads, all of the murder, all of the nonsense, all the shit that has happened is entirely related to these characters double crossing one another, whatever. So Tim Madden actually hasn't done anything wrong. He blacked out and did a bunch of coke and
he's not even involved in this at all.
No. So we can move into the final kind of act here.
Yeah.
So we played a clip of Wardley Meeks the third, in his bizarre Southern accent.
Right. Yeah.
So he sounds like a cross between a Southern boy and when you get like the cliche, like popped collar 80s, like golf club villain, like, oh my God. Oh, this is here today. Okay. You need another 9-iron.
There's a little bit of snaggletooth in there.
Yeah, totally. He's ridiculous. So he finds Tim and takes him out to kill him along as he's explaining, he's confessing everything. We see all these flashbacks, flash forwards, flash sideways, nested flashbacks.
And isn't that kind of explained by something like there is some explanation of like how when you think you're going to get killed, all of a sudden you become aware of things you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
Like there's some weird way that it leaps into being able to show these things that so Ryan O'Neal now knows them.
Yes, he's holding Ryan O'Neal's character Tim at gunpoint, and he's like shooting around him like the way in old westerns you shoot people's feet and say dance.
Yep.
He's shooting to scare him, and at one point he shoots really close to his head and says like, "There's a moment when you die, or right before you die, when you realize everything, and you even realize things that you were not privy to by being there." And at that point, he jumps to a flashback, which sets up a flashback that he needs to tell Tim about to make the whole story make sense.
Right.
I think that's Norman Mailer's way of saying, I can't.
I'm stuck. Yeah, I painted myself into a corner.
And I felt bad, like I'm harping on this, like as a weak point, but like I really think it's a cheat and a weird way of getting.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I believe it's the kind of moment where we're able to see what others have done when we weren't there.
Something like that.
I see such odd things when I pull a trigger. I see Lonnie and Jessica just as they were last Friday night.
I mean, I can't explain how confused I was at how bad the writing was, because I was like, well, that will be the part that, I wrote in my notes, does Norman Mailer suck? ? Right? Because I was like, oh, I thought maybe he's someone that's no longer considered a great writer, or maybe,
Yeah. We don't know.
We don't know.
However, once they do get to a little place on the beach where they can do the whole flashback, and they set a little bonfire up, and it's very cozy looking. There's an odd exchange where Wardley?
Well, I think it's Wardley.
Wardley is concerned about some sexual history.
She ever give you a rim job?
Wardley, don't even think about it.
Please don't tease my temper. My father would strike me without warning.
Wardley, can you take the truth?
Well, rich people are always lied to. Try presenting me with the truth.
It did happen in Tampa.
On which occasions?
When she was trying to convince me to murder you.
Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah. He gets more and more morose.
Yes.
As the scene goes on, right? And you have to, I mean, for me, just to picture him, he looked like, I don't think we recorded this. He very much looks like a direct cross between Fraser Crane and John Tesh.
John Tesh, yeah. No, that's perfect.
I mean, it's uncanny.
Everything he said was weird.
Yeah.
Every line of dialogue is weird.
And I know that, he's supposed to be enigmatic and confusing, right? I think he's supposed to be like a wild card. Like you don't really know. He could do it.
Okay.
It could go any way, right? You're supposed to get that feeling.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you get that feeling from all the other characters too, because you don't understand what motivates them either.
No, you don't. At one point, so he's in town, like kind of saying like, I gave $2 million of seed money for this Coke deal, and these people from California came out to do it, and they disappeared. And where's my money? Where's my Coke? And he gets hooked up with the two fuck up scumbags, Spider and the other dude. Here's a little bit of that.
I will sit on a mountain of drugs. I'll be equal to a Renaissance prince.
The Duke of Dixie.
Lonnie is dead. Jessica is dismembered. Patty Lorraine is off on some kind of toot. And I am about to go into business with you two unspeakable sleazos. I know I am out of my mind, but I have never felt more alive.
All right! Yeah!
Yeah. What does one say? Is that before or after they like pulled the headless body?
That's right when he's responding to seeing Jessica the porn star's headless body pulled up out of a barrel of
something white,
clay water.
Yeah, milk.
Milk. So I just want to say again, listener, if you were confused, this is not due to us not doing a good job. This is just a bunch of noirish tropes of double crossing and passion and betrayal, done with a lot of cocaine and a lot of bad hair and terrible dialogue. Can I play just we're getting towards the end here. We come to find out that Regency is behind all of this because he's the chief of police, former state trooper, and he's frequently alluded to as a narc. So they're basically saying like he's kind of a corrupt narc pulling the strings and making these drug deals happen.
Right.
So at some point, Tim figures this all out and returns to his home where his dad, Dougie, is, and Regency is there, and he's very drunk.
Right.
And we get to hear him, this kind of confrontation here. This is the final act.
Mad, your father's a prince.
Cheers. Are we drinking to your retirement?
Getting shit-faced.
You're there already.
I burn through this stuff faster than it burns me.
You got a lot to burn.
Life gives a man two balls. Use them. It's a rare day I don't bang two women. Matter of fact, I don't sleep too well unless I get that second hump in. Both sides of my nature are obliged to express themselves.
Tell me, what are your two sides?
The enforcer and the maniac.
And who do we have the honor of addressing?
You never met the maniac.
Yeah. I actually like that scene.
Yeah.
Because they're basically saying like, there's the good guy and the bad guy, and they're like, which one are we talking to? Like, you haven't seen the bad guy.
This is all.
He's
this
been
is
a
good.
very bad guy.
Yeah, you're getting the good guy.
I thought that was charming.
Yeah, I agree. Can we?
We need to talk about the. Okay, so, basically, Tim tells Regency, the jig is up.
Right.
Everybody is dead. And he's like, well, he says, I want to be with Patty and that's all I care about. And he's like, Patty's dead.
Right. That's not going to happen.
And he loses his shit and he has a stroke.
Right.
A massive stroke. To the point where he can only talk out of one side of he's paralyzed on half of his body.
And wait, but he's got a big lump on his head too.
Well, I think he hit his head when he fell down.
Oh, that's right. Has the stroke, falls, hits his head, and then, does the elephant.
So he wakes up. Yeah, they don't call an ambulance or anything. He's just in the house.
Bed, yeah. And this part, this is where I was like, wow, I feel like there was some payoff. That one moment of when he's in bed with a big lump on his head, talking out of one side of his mouth, I was like, thank you. Because, like, this is delightful and ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
When we met Regency at that first party, this was not one of the paths I saw.
No, I didn't see it's remember in the end of, I don't know, Drunken Master 2, Jackie Chan?
Oh, God, yes.
Doesn't he drink, like, wood alcohol or something at the end? And he's admit this is a very similar vibe. It was like, oh, and he's, mentally impaired for some reason at the very end.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alvin is so upset that Patty, who he's done all this stuff for, basically, to win, is dead. He has a massive stroke, and this is his conversation with his wife, Madeline Isabella Rossellini.
I need you to come 16 times in a night.
Not one of them was good.
That's because you got no womb! Madeline! You got eyes for my woman! I'm gonna take you down! Murder one! Patty Lorraine, she was big time. Ooh la la. I thought you were big time, but you turned out to be small potatoes.
I could have told him. Never called an Italian small potatoes.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Everybody knows that. That's like look both ways before you cross the road.
So at this point, the bodies are stacking up like cordwood.
Yep.
I wouldn't have said before this next scene that this is a comedy, a black comedy.
Yeah. It changes its, I think no, it's not. But it changes its mind at the last minute with, like, let's throw in some gallows humor.
Okay, so at one point early in the film, when Tim has gone out to a stash and there's two heads now. So first off, he went out there and there was one head, a blonde. He couldn't bear to look at it, and he's freaking out. And then he's told to go back again, and that's when he's confronted and his dog is murdered. But there's two heads that time, and his dad volunteers to go and dump them out in the ocean. So when this film ends, there's more dead bodies than at that point. Plus Patty and Jessica's bodies are still hanging around. Their heads are gone.
Right.
But there's a lot of bodies. So we get the last scene is, for some reason, Pomp and Circumstance, which, if you're not familiar with that work, folks, that's what they play at graduation and matriculation ceremonies.
Yep.
Playing. So that adds a comical element to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely decides to go there. And
we see Tim and his dad, Dougie, throwing, like, gunny sack wrapped bodies off of a boat into the deep while having this conversation.
Hey, you know something? I'm taking to this more than I thought I would.
You've been in the wrong occupation all these years.
This has got to be the answer to cancer.
Maybe that's why cancer costs so much to cure.
The way I see it, schizophrenia is the cure for cancer. Cancer's probably the cure for schizophrenia. People just don't know how tough it is out there.
And that's the last line of the movie, isn't it?
No.
They talk more after that? After the boat?
No. Madeline takes Tim. He's all cleaned up and they're all in white, like they're
right.
And she shows him a beautiful new beachfront house, and he's like, "Whose house is this?" And she says, "It's yours."
Right.
And it reveals that the cash for the drug deal that went wrong, that caused all this harm and tragedy, went to buy this house. And he carries her over the threshold and closes the door on us, and the credits start.
Right.
And we're just left to pick up the pieces and try and put our lives back together again.
Yeah. mean, I felt proud. I felt proud that I got through it. It gave me that.
I will say, I thought Wings, like his performance, particularly the bizarre post-stroke performance, was amazing.
Do you think I would like? I mean, God, I'd love to meet that. I would love to know. Did he think that was going to be funny? Do you think he was? Because
I don't think so. Judging from that essay thing he wrote for the Mailer website, he took this role very seriously and thought it was very challenging because Mailer was so intense. I don't think that there was a lot of black comedy. I feel like that last scene was comical, and I don't know, like in post, like an afterthought. Like, I mean, they're literally it is funny.
Yes.
It's pomp and circumstance, right? I mean, it's this thing we associate with moving on and moving up and completing something. And they're dumping the bodies that have accrued through this bizarre, twisted
just nonsense. Yeah.
Nonsense, horrible narrative. It is funny, but it doesn't fit with the film that came before it.
No.
And that made me question on a rewatch, like, are these accents supposed to be funny? Like, is this whole thing a black comedy? What do you think?
I don't know, because I think that question is like mirrors so many other questions. Like, how do you have Ryan O'Neal in that moment in the same scene? Right? There's so many things that don't fit. Like the whole, at every level, all the way down, no two things fit with each other. Like, why the weird stroke talk? Like, that doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't fit anything else. It makes no sense that would happen. Right? Right. And so I don't think it's supposed to be a comedy. I think it's really taking itself pretty seriously. And there's no wink from anybody. And then the thing is, I don't know Wings Hauser well enough. Every scene that Wings Hauser is in, you could read as this is a big wink, right? Everything he does, right? But if it's not, that's equally interesting, but just for a different reason.
Yeah.
Could it all be a black comedy? I mean, you could look at Wardley and be like, that everything I don't know. If it's funny on purpose, it's still a miss because it would have been such a subtle version of it that you don't know that until the very end. So I don't think so. I think it's either way it's a miss, right? But I think it's a really big miss at being a neo-noir movie and not like a kind of very slight, strange miss at being like a black comedy version of a neo-noir movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I do. Okay, Joe said, I think this film is a curiosity, ultimately trash, but just barely. His antidote would have been Logan Lucky.
Oh, I just saw that.
It's a Soderbergh heist film.
I really enjoyed it.
I would have loved to hear everyone's take on a nonlinear film narrative.
Mm-hmm.
He also wants the audience to know that Supervan is now available on Amazon, which was one of our first movies we did, and I hated it, and Joe loves it. Supervan's on Amazon, guys, for free. Joe's very bummed that his computer shit the bed tonight because he was very excited to talk to us about this.
The thing that is another thing that's for me about this that is jarring is just hearing Ryan O'Neal talk, because I know I've seen movies with him in it and I associate it with things that are good, right? And he's obviously a movie star. Like when he's in the scene and he's talking, you just like him, right?
Yeah.
You just feel for him, you know what I mean? And it's just nice to hear him talk. And I do keep thinking about, Paper Moon. Like I just keep, whenever he's in there, I keep thinking about Paper Moon. Also, this is a tangent, but it does remind me, when you guys were talking about him in Paper Moon a couple episodes ago, right?
Yeah.
It was in the middle of a Busey conversation, right?
Yes,
and you said, and you were like, oh, yeah, but of course Busey was not in Paper Moon. And I thought, my God, but what if he had been? What if he had been? Or what if there was a remake? And then I started thinking, like, well, who would he even be, right? Would he be that evil sheriff? But no, because the evil sheriff underacts so much, right? I think he's Madeline Kahn's character. I think he's Trixie. I think he would be a perfect Trixie Delight if we were to redo it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to accept that.
Yeah, I thought you might like it.
Is there anything about this film that we didn't address that you wanted to talk about?
Well, afterwards, AIM was baffled, and she read like the Roger Ebert review.
It's a good review.
It is a good review. He really talked a lot about how much the movie was about the setting, which I have to be honest, I missed. Like, I know there's lots of shots of the setting, but I thought they were superfluous, gratuitous shots of a setting that didn't. It could have happened to me. He's like, this could have happened anywhere, and it made no difference at all.
I feel like the establishing shots in the opening credits and a few shots. I mean, like when Wardley is walking Tim across that bar. What do you call that? Like that?
Yeah. That walk.
That walk across the bay. That's like a man-made rock levee thing.
Right. The spit.
The spit. Thank you. It was like when Tim is driving through town, like to the Widow's Walk bar. I feel like New England really is a character in this, but not to the extent that Ebert kind of felt it was.
And maybe having never been there, maybe that's the thing. Maybe I was like, I'm not been. Maybe it went right past me.
I also was wondering. I mean, I know that is it Provincetown or Provincetown? Yeah. But I didn't know. Is Helltown a real part? Like it felt like a dramatic.
Yeah.
Like I mean, when he's talking to Jessica Pond and her husband or whatever in the bar, and he's like saying like it's she's saying I'm a real estate agent out in Santa Barbara, and all these houses here are just ugly shacks. And he said, well, some of them are interesting. They were ferried across, the bay or whatever from Helltown. I'm like, Helltown? Like, that's where the pirates and the whores and the blah, blah are. And we heard early in that clip.
Right.
When
I've forgotten that.
What's her name's playing the trumpet. He's like, wake all the ghosts in Helltown. I feel like that meant something a lot more to Mailer than it did to us. Like, it's loaded with all this kind of stuff. It's just a shorthand for something to him, and it's didn't translate at all.
No, like some concept of.
I know the name's evocative.
There's a reel across the tracks, but it's actually across the bay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. In Helltown, that's where Spider is.
Spider.
Dog stabbing Spider. I think we should do Final Judgment now.
Okay.
I reached out to Joe one last time and said, "Hey, do you want to try and connect?" But Joe was very clear about his feelings here. He said it's trash, but just barely. And his antidote is Logan Lucky from Steven Soderbergh,
which was good.
What do you say?
Yeah, trash. I would have to. Yeah, it's trash. I mean, there was the redeeming things weren't even redeeming because they were meant to be. They just happened to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you aware of our policy where if you decree something to be trash, you have to offer up an antidote?
Yeah. Let me find it. I can't remember the name.
Is it a Jessica Pond XXX film?
No. Oh, although I did miss that. Notice that she was a porn actress and then she was a real estate agent. I was wondering if there's a natural progression there, right? If that's she went as far as she could and became a real estate agent. I mean, I would say After the Thin Man would be a good one.
As opposed to The Thin Man?
They're all good, but I do particularly like that one.
Okay. Is that the second or third one?
second one. And then also I would say Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy.
Really?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Connective
There's plots.
tissue?
There's darkness. It knows what it is. It knows that it is a comedy, and it nails being that. Right.
Fair enough.
The funny parts are meant to be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have to disagree with both of you guys.
I knew you were.
I actually thought this was cool. I didn't know how I felt after the first watch. I'm honest. But on subsequent viewings, I've seen it like 2.5, 3 times.
Yep.
It's growing on me. It's a train wreck in a good way. At first it just seemed like a impenetrable mess.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now.
On subsequent viewings, I was like, okay, it's a train wreck that's a delight. I'm really enjoying it.
I would
give, where I'm gonna buy a copy of it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I will give you this. After seeing this, so this is my first Wings Hauser movie, and after this, I would see anything with Wings Hauser in it. So, you know.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want for recommendations? I mean.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So his breakout film was Vice Squad. He was on Young and the Restless before that.
Right.
He plays a pimp named Ramrod, and he's fucking amazing. It just came out on Blu-ray, like a deluxe release. Sparkling, amazing performance.
I will definitely see it.
His next film after that was called Deadly Force, and it's kind of like it's got the vibe of like Beverly Hills Cop, kind of like Fletch. Like he's this cop who used to be out in L.A. and he's gone divorced and went to New York, and then he comes back for the serial killer case and kind of reconnect with his ex. And it's
that sounds like my kind of movie.
I loved it. So Deadly Force and Vice Squad, you'll totally dig. Highly recommend those two. Yeah, I have no antidote for this. I recommend you pick up that 4-pack thing I was mentioning on Amazon. That's like 4 thrillers.
You know, when you opened talking about the 4-pack and the price, I that was my clue which way you were going to go.
Okay, so on that noir thing,
yeah,
there is The Visitors by Elia Kazan.
Really?
Hotspot, that movie I mentioned.
Yes, that's the Don Johnson one.
Yes. Exposed, which I don't know what that is, and this film. So check that out. That's a good one. So I think we're done with the show for now.
Are you going to add some Joe? It'd be good to add some Joe if you can.
Yeah.
I want to hear the answers to your questions about the book.
Yeah. I will see if I can do something with Joe for sure. But for right now, let's wrap you and me.
All right.
Thank you so much for being on, Pete. It was awesome to see you and talk to you again.
No, thank you. This was a blast. I knew it would be. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the movie being so convoluted. I know it wasn't easy, and sorry you watched it with your daughter.
You know what? To be fair, she, it was probably best, but she did leave a lot.
Yeah.
It didn't hold her.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's fair enough then. I have
to thank AIM for hanging in there with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. For That's Cool, That's Trash, I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Pete.
And you folks out there, stay trashy. We might be back at some point. I don't know.
I hope so. This was a blast.
Thanks.
That's cool. La, 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 that's trash. La, 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 that's cool. La, 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 that's trash. That's trash.
It's garbage, folks.
Why do you tell me this story? Because it turns me on. I'm a law enforcement officer, and it turns me on. Does my story turn you on? You didn't tell it well enough.